Welcome to the session Matrix Spaces, Equivalent Matrix and Subspaces. Equivalent matrix. It is possible that different matrices on a set give rise to same open sets. There are certain properties which depends only in the open sets in a matrix space. If such a property known to be true in a matrix space XD, then it turns out that this property will be true in all matrix spaces which have the same open sets as are in XD. Such properties are known as topological properties. Definition. Let D1 and D2 be two matrices on a non-empty set X. Let G1 and G2 be the sets of open sets in XD1 and XD2 respectively. Then D1 is said to be finer than D2 if G2 is subset of G1. Two matrices D1 and D2 are said to be equivalent if G1 is equal to G2. We illustrate with the following example. Example. Let XD be a matrix space. Then the matrix rho defined as rho of xy is equal to minimum of 1 comma d of xy is equivalent to D. To show this, let G be an open set in XD and X be a point in G. Then there exists a real number epsilon such that 0 less than epsilon less than 1 and S of x epsilon D is subset of G. Then rho of xy is less than epsilon if and only if rho of xy is equal to minimum of 1 comma d of xy which is less than epsilon if and only if d of x comma y is less than epsilon. Therefore, S of x epsilon rho is equal to S of x epsilon D which is subset of G. Thus, G is an open set in X rho. To show that every open set in X rho is an open set in XD, let G star be an open set in X rho and X be a point in G star. Then there exists a real number epsilon such that 0 less than epsilon less than 1 and S of x epsilon rho is subset of G star. It is easily seen that S of x epsilon D is equal to S of x epsilon rho which is subset of G star. Thus, G star is an open set in XD. This proves that D and rho are equivalent matrices. The above example is in fact a proof of the following theorem. Theorem. Any matrix D on a set X is equivalent to a bounded matrix rho on X in which the diameter of X does not exceed 1. Theorem. Let XD and XD dash be two matrix spaces. Then D and D dash are equivalent if and only if, first one, for each x in X and for each open sphere S of x epsilon D, there exists an open sphere S of x epsilon dash D dash contained in S of x epsilon D, and 2, for each x in X and for each open sphere S of x epsilon D dash, there exists an open sphere S of x epsilon dash D contained in S of x epsilon D dash. Proof. First, assume that D and D dash are equivalent. Since an open sphere is an open set, for each x and open sphere S of x epsilon D, there exists a real number epsilon dash greater than 0 such that S of x epsilon dash D dash is subset of S of x epsilon D. Hence, first is proved. Similarly, second can be proved. Conversely, assume first and second. We have to show that D and D dash are equivalent. Let G be an open set in XD and X be a point in G. So, there exists a real number epsilon greater than 0 such that S of x epsilon D is subset of G. By the assumption 1, there is a real number epsilon dash greater than 0 such that S of x epsilon dash D dash is subset of S of x epsilon D. Therefore, S of x epsilon dash D dash is subset of G. Thus, G is an open set in XD dash. Similarly, by the assumption 2, it follows that any open set in XD dash is an open set in XD. Thus, d and d dash are equivalent. Here is another example on similar lines. Example, let xd be a matrix space and define the matrix d1 by d1 of xy is equal to d of xy divided by 1 plus d of xy for all xy belongs to x. Then d and d1 are equivalent. Let x be a point in x and y be any point in S of x epsilon d. Then y belongs to S of x epsilon d if and only if d of xy is less than epsilon, if and only if d of xy divided by 1 plus d of xy is less than epsilon divided by 1 plus epsilon, if and only if d1 of xy divided by 1 plus d of xy is less than epsilon divided by 1 plus epsilon. Consequently, S of x comma epsilon by 1 plus epsilon comma d1 is equal to S of x epsilon d. For a real number epsilon such that 0 less than epsilon less than 1, a similar calculation will show that S of x epsilon d1 is equal to S of x epsilon by 1 minus epsilon d. Hence, by the above theorem, d and d1 are equivalent. From the examples 1 and 2, it follows that d, rho and d1 are equivalent matrix. The following theorem gives a sufficient condition for two matrices to be equivalent. Theorem: two matrices d and d star on a non-empty set X are equivalent if S into d of xy is less than or equal to d star of xy, which is less than or equal to t into d of xy for all xy in X and for some positive real numbers s and t. Proof: suppose that the real numbers s and t exists as required. For any x in X and a real number epsilon greater than 0, S of x epsilon d is subset of S of x t epsilon d star. Again, for any y in X and a real number epsilon dash greater than 0, S of y epsilon dash d star is subset of S of y epsilon dash by s d. Therefore, d and d star are equivalent by the above theorem. The sufficient condition in the above theorem is clearly not a necessary condition. Let us consider the real line R, where the matrix is d of xy is equal to modulus of x minus y. This matrix D is equivalent to the matrix d1 on R defined by d1 of xy is equal to d of xy divided by 1 plus d of xy. Suppose, if possible, there exists a real number t greater than 0 such that d of xy is less than or equal to t into d1 of xy. Then d of xy is less than or equal to t, that is modulus of x minus y is less than or equal to t for all x and y in R, which is clearly not possible. Recall that a sequence in a set X is a mapping S from n to x, and if S of n is equal to xn in X, then the sequences is denoted as sequence xn, that is in terms of its values. Whenever there is a matrix D defined on X, then sequence xn is said to be in the matrix space X. Such a sequence xn is said to be convergent to a point x in X if for each real number epsilon greater than 0, there exists a positive integer m such that d of xn comma x is less than epsilon for all n greater than or equal to m. Two matrices preserve the convergent sequences if and only if the matrices are equivalent. This is our next characterization of equivalent matrix. Theorem: two matrices D and D dash on a non-empty set X are equivalent if and only if, first one, every sequence xn in X converging to X in xd converges to X in xd dash, and 2, every sequence xn in X converging to X in xd dash converges to X in xd. Proof: assume that d and d dash are equivalent. Let x be a point in X and let epsilon greater than 0 be a real number. Then there exists a real number delta greater than 0 such that S of x delta d is subset of S of x epsilon d dash. If sequence xn converges to x in xd, then there exists a positive integer p such that d of xn comma x is less than delta for all n greater than or equal to p. Thus, we have xn is an element of s of x delta d, which is subset of s of x epsilon d dash for all n greater than or equal to p. That is, sequence xn converges to x in xd dash. Hence, the proof of first. Similarly, we can prove the second one. Conversely, we assume that the conditions 1 and 2 in the theorem and prove that d and d dash are equivalent. Suppose the contrary, then there exists a point x naught in x and a real number epsilon greater than 0 such that for all real numbers delta greater than 0, s of x naught delta d dash is not contained in s of x naught epsilon d. In particular, for each positive integer n, since s of x naught 1 by n d dash is not contained in s of x naught epsilon d, we can select a point xn which belongs to s of x naught 1 by n d dash, such that xn is not in s of x naught epsilon d. Now, it is easily seen that the sequence xn converges to x naught in xd dash, but does not converge to x naught in xd, which contradicts the assumption 2. This completes the proof. Theorem. Let xd1 and xd2 be two matrix spaces. The matrix d1 and d2 are equivalent if and only if every subset of x has the same closure in xd1 and xd2. Proof. Let d1 and d2 be equivalent matrix on x and A be a subset of x. Let x belongs to x minus a be a limit point of a in xd2. Then there exists a sequence xn in a converging to x in xd2. Therefore, by the previous theorem, the sequence xn converges to x in xd1. Thus, x is a limit point of a in xd1. Hence, the closure of a set A in xd1 and xd2 are equal. Conversely, suppose that d and d dash are not equivalent. Also, without loss of generality, assume that sequence xn is a sequence in x which converges to a point x in xd1 and sequence xn does not converge in xd2 to x. Then there exists a real number epsilon greater than 0 such that for each positive integer m, there is an n greater than m such that d2 of xn x is greater than or equal to epsilon. Consequently, there exists a subsequence xnk of sequence xn such that xnk does not belongs to s of x epsilon d2 for all positive integer k. That is, the subsequence xnk is contained in x minus s of x epsilon d2. Now, x minus s of x epsilon d2 is a closed set in xd2. Let A be the set of points of the subsequence xnk. Then, A is subset of x minus s of x epsilon d2, so that the closure of A in xd2 does not contain the point x. But the point x is in the closure of A in xd1, since sequence xnk is a subsequence of the sequence xn converging to x, and therefore, sequence xnk is itself convergent to x in xd1. Thus, the closure of A in xd1 and xd2 are not identical. Corollary. Let xd1 and xd2 be matrix spaces. If d1 and d2 are equivalent, then precisely the same subsets of x are dense in xd1 and xd2. Subspaces. Given a matrix space xd, the following theorem provides the basis for generating new matrix spaces from xd. Theorem. Let xd be a matrix space and y be a non-empty subset of x. Then the mapping dy from y cross y to R defined by dy of xy is equal to d of xy for all xy belongs to y is a metric on y. Proof. Since d of xy is greater than or equal to 0, dy of xy is greater than or equal to 0 for all xy in y. Also, dy of xy is equal to 0 if and only if d of xy is equal to 0 if and only if x equal to y. The symmetry is obvious. To prove the triangle inequality, let xy and z be points in y. Then dy of xy is equal to d of xy, which is less than or equal to d of xz plus d of zy, which is equal to dy of xz plus dy of zy, since xy and z are the points in y. Therefore, dy is a metric on y and y dy is a metric space. In view of the above theorem, the following definition makes sense. Definition: let xd be a metric space and y be a non-empty subset of x. Let dy be the restriction of d to x. Then the metric space y dy is called a subspace of xd. The metric dy is usually denoted by d itself whenever there is no confusion. Sometimes we just say that y is a subspace of x when the underlying matrix is understood. Examples: 1. The intervals closed interval ab, open interval ab and the set q, z are subspaces of the real line R. Whenever we refer an interval closed interval ab, left open interval ab, right open interval ab, open interval ab without mentioning its metric, it is the subspace metric of R, that is d of xy is equal to modulus of x minus y for all xy in the given interval. 2. A subspace is a metric space in its own right. Therefore, we can introduce in it all the concepts that are available in a metric space: open spheres, neighborhoods, open sets, closed sets, limit points, etc. For instance, the interval closed interval 0, 1 is a subspace of R. 3. The open sphere centered at 0 and with radius 1 by 2 in the closed interval 0, 1 is the right open interval 0, 1 by 2, a closed open interval. The open spheres S of 1, 1 by 2 is the interval left open interval 1 by 2, 1 and the open sphere S of 1 by 2, 1 by 2 is the open interval 0, 1. Recall that the open spheres in the real line R are open intervals. If we consider the subspace open interval 0, 1 of R, then the closed sphere S of 1 by 2, 1 by 2 in the open interval 0, 1 is the open interval 0, 1 and the closed sphere S of 1 by 2, 1 by 4 is the closed interval 1 by 4, 3 by 4. Theorem: let xd be a metric space and y dy be a subspace of xd. Then for each y in y and a real number epsilon greater than 0, the open sphere S of y epsilon dy is the intersection with y of the open sphere S of y epsilon d, that is S of y epsilon dy is equal to S of y epsilon d intersection y. Proof: a point x belongs to S of y epsilon dy if and only if x belongs to y and dy of yx is less than epsilon if and only if d of yx is less than epsilon and x belongs to y if and only if x belongs to S of y epsilon d intersection y. It may be noted that if y is any point in x minus y, then the set S of y epsilon d intersection y may not be a sphere in y. From example, consider the subspace y is equal to set of all open interval x0 belongs to R square such that x is a real number of R2. Then S of open interval 0, 1, 1 intersection y is the empty set. Theorem: let xd be a metric space and y dy be a subspace of x. A set G is open in y if and only if there exists an open set G star in x such that G is equal to G star intersection y. Proof: let G be an open set in y. For each x in G, there exists a real number epsilon x greater than 0 such that S of x epsilon x dy is subset of G. By the above theorem, we have S of x epsilon x dy is equal to S of x epsilon x d intersection y. Let G star be the union of open spheres S of x epsilon x d obtained as above. Then G star is an open set in X and G star intersection Y is equal to union of S of x epsilon x d where x belongs to G intersection Y, which is equal to union of S of x epsilon x d intersection Y where x belongs to G is equal to union of S of x epsilon x dy where x belongs to G is equal to G. Conversely, by the above theorem, for each y in Y and a real number epsilon greater than 0, the set S of y epsilon d intersection Y is an open sphere in Y. If G star is an open set in X, then for each y belongs to G star intersection Y, there exists a real number epsilon greater than 0 such that S of y epsilon d is subset of G star. Therefore, S of y epsilon d intersection Y is subset of G star intersection Y, and so G star intersection Y is an open set in Y. Corollary: let X d be a matrix space and Y dy be a subspace of X. Every open set G in Y is open in X if and only if Y is open in X. Proof: the necessity part follows if we take G is equal to Y. Conversely, let Y be an open set in X. Let G be an open set in Y. By the previous theorem, there exists an open set G star in X such that G is equal to G star intersection Y. Since G star intersection Y is open in X, G is an open set in X. Theorem: let Xd be a matrix space and Y dy be a subspace of Xd. A subset n of Y is a neighborhood in Y of a point x in Y if and only if there exists a neighborhood n star in X of X such that n is equal to n star intersection Y. Proof: let n be a neighborhood in Y of a point x in Y. Then there exists a real number epsilon greater than 0 such that S of x epsilon dy is subset of n. Then we have the equality S of x epsilon dy is equal to S of x epsilon d intersection Y. Take n star is equal to n union S of x epsilon d. The converse part is obvious. Now you can try to answer the questions given here. First one, let C of closed interval AB be the set of all real valued continuous mappings. Show that the following matrix on C of closed interval AB, D1 of f comma g is equal to supremum of set of all modulus of f of t minus g of t such that t belongs to closed interval AB, and D2 of f comma g is equal to integral from a to b modulus of f of t minus g of t dt are not equivalent. Second one, let X be any finite non-empty set. Show that any metric on X is equivalent to the discrete metric on X. Third one, prove that every infinite matrix space contains a denumerable discrete subspace. Fourth one, let Xd be a matrix space and Y dy be a subspace of X. Then prove that every open set G in Y is open in X if and only if Y is open in X. Fifth one, show that every subspace of a separable matrix space is separable. For your further study, you may go through the following books. First one, Principles of Mathematical Analysis by Walter Rudin, McGraw-Hill Book Company, Auckland, 1985. Matrix Spaces by P.K. Jain and K. Ahmed, Narosa Publishers, New Delhi, 1993. Third one, Topology by J.R. Mungers, Prentice Hall of India, 1991. Fourth one, Introduction to Topology and Modern Analysis by G.F. Simmons, McGraw-Hill, 1963. And the fifth one, Matrix Spaces by B.K. Tyagi, Cambridge University Press, New Delhi, 2010. Hope that you have enjoyed the session. We will meet again with another topic. Thank you for watching the program.